another edition of Knicks Morning Coffee. I'm Mr. King, and I'm here with my partner, Joe Cool. So, as we know with the Knicks, all right, Knicks news really never die. It's actually the early afternoon, so we're just going to have a little drink, something light to celebrate. We had Julius Randle, who was the second team All-NBA, which that was incredible because Paul George was on the third team. So kudos to him. And then we had our boy IQ, who was second team All-Rookie. And what I thought was cool about that was the other rookies that were on the second team, everybody was somebody that the Knicks they had considered to select. So he wasn't even on our radar as we know it through the draft process, but yet here he was, second team, and well-deserved, so big ups to them.
Happy Juneteenth. Everybody like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, that's why we're a little late. Yeah.
Let it get in the algorithm, you know what I mean?
Yeah, hit that like button right now for us. And then make sure today, too, that you get out and celebrate, what this week means, really for everybody, but in particular, to the African-American community, but really for everybody. Nobody's excluded. All right, so let's just get back real quick about, we had our coach was already coach of the year. And then we get two players that pick up two huge accolades. So that got to bode well for how other teams see the Knicks now. Like, they're not just going to see us as, just a running joke. That means, we got some beef behind, what we trying to do. So, I was happy to hear that. And I was even happy, just to even hear that about Randle. Okay, he flamed out in the playoffs, but we just can't neglect what he's done for the season.
We're definitely cool again.
He said we're definitely cool again.
Yeah, we're definitely cool again. So going to the Knicks is not going to be that much of a headache. It definitely was a running joke, and we definitely wasn't just like the cool thing to be. You know what I mean? So being a Knicks fan, coming to the Knicks, the new management team, then the new way they put out the Knicks, like I said before, with the dipset and all that. So now it's definitely way better. They had Pat Poose on during the playoffs. So
I didn't remember seeing that.
I mean, he wasn't on it, man. He wasn't.
but all that got to bode well for us because this stuff just remind me of what I was saying before about, because we all thought we would beat the Hawks. Like, realistically, we all did thought going in that we would beat them. So, and I remember I was saying that I thought that we had a good chance to beat Philly because if you could just slow down Ben Simmons, then you neutralize their offense because they're as potent as he get out and run. And now Philly tied the series last night, but they, Embiid is getting his. So you slow down Ben. Ben keeps the other guys from going off. So last night you had Harris as the other guy. Who the game before that, who was it that went off of Philly? It's always another one, but it's not the right one. You're not getting Shake Milton and all them guys going off. It was Curry the game before, but that still resulted in a loss. So you neutralize Ben and you keep him out of the open court, and then you got a chance to win. And then I seen last night, I turned on a little bit more, and then I seen Ben start running, in the third quarter. So, the Hawks, they doing what they can do, but that's got to be the game plan. So if we could have got in with the guys that we have and we neutralized that fast break, that one-man fast break of Ben Simmons, that could have been us 3-3 going into a Game 7 against Philly. So it's just hard. It's hard to overlook that, even though we've been out now for almost two whole series. But it's just hard to say, damn, what it could be, and we'll just bring you back to, some of the things that the Knicks still can do, in this offseason to kind of combat that. So let's just take a look at some free agent and trade notes. And then these are just little things that are rumors. Because again, Nick Brass ain't saying nothing, so we don't know what's going to happen. We don't really know what's going on. All we know is some of the things we see on print and with some of the things that the media put out.
This was last year. It was kind of quiet. Even as soon as they got on, it was quiet. We didn't really know nothing. Woj ain't say nothing. So,
well,
they cooking up something.
Yeah, but check this out though, because Luka Doncic. Okay, his people are saying he wants out of Dallas, right? And they saying that because they got rid of the general manager, the coach stepped down. Now that coach could have stepped down because he got Boston ties, so he probably got his eyes set on the Boston job. But it was some stuff that was going on that the coach and Luka didn't get along. So that could have been the reason why they probably let him mutually step down. But Luka's family supposedly wants him in a bigger market to capitalize on his talent.
Well, isn't Dallas a big market?
No.
I mean,
no.
When you say big market, you mean money-wise?
I mean, big market meaning you go somewhere like New York, LA, Chicago. You go to those type places, you got more media attention, you got more, more things for endorsements. Now, that supposedly not have been the case so many years.
Well, I thought Dallas was doing a good job because of their owner and...
Yeah, well, Cuban,
Dallas, you know what I mean?
He gonna fight. He gonna do whatever he got to do to keep him there. But there's also the talk of the Knicks have the money and the assets if they wanted to make a throw at Luka. They got things that they could parlay with Dallas, and if Mark Cuban, he wouldn't make it easy on you. It would just have to be one of them situations where, if that was the case, that Luka's people will let him know that after his contract, he's not re-signing no matter what. So now another team got leverage to play ball because you don't want to lose him for nothing. And as much as Mark Cuban would do anything he could to keep him, he's not no fool. He's a businessman first. So that's just something just to keep our eye on. That ain't, we're not getting all our hopes up because we still were a 4th seed and we just want to improve to go better. But you just have to entertain it, see where it lies, make sure that like in the past, that we just not a bargaining chip, because that's what teams done to us in the past. And then now the same thing with Zion's people. They saying that they want him out of the Pelicans for some of the same reasons, that he's not getting his just due exposure. Again, you don't want to be a bargain chip, but that's stuff that you have to entertain.
And you know what? Now that I think about it, AD was on the Pelicans. I think the only thing that separated AD from the Pelicans was the brow. You know what I mean? Phil the brow. He was the new age center that comes out to the 3-point line. So he kind of can separate himself from that. I know there was Wiggins on the Pelicans. Where was Wiggins at? Or he was on...
Wiggins on Minnesota.
Minnesota. The same thing with him. Like, I feel like they don't get their shine because it'd be whack players on the Knicks that get their shine.
Well, yeah, the bigger the market, yeah, and every team has a star, so you can be a star anywhere. But yeah, just little things that come your way.
I mean, bigger markets because I'm thinking about now that you say that, I'm thinking about Swaggy P, J.R. Smith, like players that P.J. Tucker, like they go to these big markets and we know their name, like with style and just being out there, and I guess the paparazzi. Well, you don't really hear nothing about the Pelicans.
but the people you just named, those three, they were like highly social media people too. So they found their own niche to get their stuff out there. But people just want that, and they say that Zion and Ingram are lobbying for Ball to come back, for Lonzo to come back. So there's probably so many things in that, and that's their team turmoil. But still, the Knicks, you got to keep an eye on it. Because you just never know. Now, things like those are game changers.
Yeah, I knew Ingram and Ball was going to be a problem. You said Ingram is a player that needs the ball in his hand to even shine. So I knew that was going to be a problem.
Yeah. So they got some work to do. They let their coach go. But again, they got some things that they have to consider. But again, Knicks, you got the management team in place that know how to talk to people and maneuver. You got the agent as your president, who now has relationships with every team. Work that phone line and just see. We ain't saying turn our team upside down. We just saying go ahead, take a look at it and see what happened, because these are the type of things that can push your franchise way out front with the way that the coaches, coaching the team.
Now I'm curious, what would y'all do? What would y'all get rid of for Luka? Or what would y'all get rid of for Damian Lillard? And what would y'all get rid of? Who else we got left?
Kawhi.
Zion.
Well, the Zion.
Well, Kawhi, he's a free agent, right?
Kawhi, he can opt out. But again, the Clippers, you just do your just due. What do you give up? Because there's a host of others. Because you got to keep in line that since we jumped down to the rumors.
Well, we got 2 first rounds?
We got 2 first rounds, 19 and 21, I believe, as it stands. And we have first rounds almost for the next few years. Now you can only give up your lottery picks every other year. But we have picks that we could parlay with if that's the track we on. Now, every other year is fine, because if we're talking about being a winning team, a contender, you don't need all your first round picks.
Like when I think of Dame Lillard, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Knicks didn't treat Melo bad, so I can't see Melo even talking him out of going to the Knicks. 2, I could see the Blazers saying, you know what, we're just done with this. C.J. McCollum, Dame Lillard, then we put Melo there. It looked good on paper, but I could see them just saying, no, let's just start over. So 2 first rounds for them, and a young Nick, I could see them doing that.
I can't see them starting. I can't see the Blazers starting over. I could see them. Well,
I could see them keeping one. So
yeah,
like Melo,
yeah.
If Melo's not under a long contract, he'll probably just stay, right? And you got C.J. McCollum.
Well, they gotta have a new coach coming in too.
C.J. McCollum, they probably would just wait out, right? If it was me, unless somebody really wanted him. But Dame Lillard, I could see somebody throwing stuff at him for them to rebuild, because they haven't been a team that's like in a rebuilding stage.
Nah, they be trying to win. Like who's to say their center Nurkic, he kind of flamed out too in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he got dominated, but they have to do something. Otherwise, they're just going to be one of those like perennial teams that get to the first, maybe second round, and you know, flirt with conference finals, but they're not never really going to go nowhere, because they got to break that backcourt up to a degree and let that scoring come from somewhere else. Too much scoring from one area, and then when you threw in Norman Powell, that's his scoring went to the backcourt. So it's too much backcourt scoring, not enough upfront scoring to be a serious contender. Even though anytime Dame is on the court, you got a chance to win. So yeah, so Knicks, what would you give up? If you're getting Marquis back, you can give up almost anything. You got to look at Dame and them. They are getting older.
Yeah, I know.
So you want to protect your young core, but you give up.
Now, as the fans, just to have some conversation, who would y'all be willing to give up? I don't know.
Well, that's a good question to ask.
Because the people I'd be willing to give up, it was like, I knew you was going to say that. So if I was a GM, I knew you was going to give him up. I want him. I want Quickley.
Well, listen, if you're getting back that kind of marquee, nobody's off the table. Because you're talking about getting back the best in our game. We getting back the best in our game, we can give up anybody on our team. For that matter. But if you're talking about getting the second tier stars, no, we're not giving up, you know, everything we work for the second and third tier star. But you're talking about an A-lister. Listen, ain't nobody untouchable for an A-lister.
And now that I think about it, because I wasn't going to bring it up, but you said the ties to the Celtics, Kemba Walker just got traded, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Celtics are pretty good at keeping who they want. I noticed that what he is. They pretty good at just keeping who they want to keep.
Well, they also give out contracts that gives you time. Like the Knicks been on this 1-2 year, 2 in the option, 1 in the option. The Celtics usually give out a decent contract, you know, because they know that people aren't really running to go to the Celtics. So you give your good guys, but they'll trade them away too.
They'll trade them away, but look who they always get. Remember, they had that whole Paul Pierce, Garnett era when it was time for them to go and almost retire.
Yeah,
they traded them away for more assets, and then they had draft picks, and they ended up with Tatum, Brown.
Yeah, I mean, but that took time though. You know, the Knicks always have that fake rebuilding. The Celtics went on a rebuild. The Sixers,
but they rebuild was fast.
No, it wasn't really. It wasn't that fast. It wasn't really that fast. They went through them dog years with their rebuilding. Yeah, they did have Smart. They did have Smart in them guys they play hard, but
media wise, like there was players that people like. It wasn't like bums.
Oh no, they ain't
That's
doing
what I'm
that.
saying.
Yeah.
Like it was like a fast rebuild.
Yeah.
Like they players now was like, listen, they get into the playoffs with those same players. That's what I said. Like they kind of whoever is in that office, they're doing a pretty good job.
Danny Ainge just stepped down, and their coach moving up to president and general manager. So, you know, they say how shrewd is Brad Stevens going to be like Danny Ainge was. Danny Ainge was shrewd. You know, he'll sign you to $1 million contract and trade you the next season. He don't care. Like there's no loyalty. His loyalty was the Celtics. So we'll just see what happens. But again, I would say if we were to get a top tier player, now you gotta have people to go with them players. But if he was getting a Kawhi or a Zion or a Dame, ain't nobody untouchable in that matter, because you still can be able to put things around it. But because we have the cap space and we have the assets, and we got player-friendly contracts that people want. The Knicks could do some damage.
Shoot, they can sign me to a day-to-day. I might do them some good.
Yeah, they could do some damage this year. But now, what about the John Wall and the Kelly Oubre one is getting steam? I'm not sold on Kelly Oubre. Is a nice young player that could play the three, but he don't shoot good enough for me. You know, he's a guy that can get out and do some things, but our bread and butter gonna be shooting with the team we got.
Yeah, those players be sounding good when you already got a team. It's almost like with say like the Lakers, even though they out, right? You got LeBron, you got AD, you got who else they had on there? They had a couple other people. Then when everything is all said and done, you hear, oh, they got Schroeder.
Yeah.
Like players like Kelly Oubre is like when you already got a good team and then somehow you got him too. Yeah. Then it's like, oh shoot. But just to have him with what the Knicks got right now, yeah, we did good. Yeah, he probably would help, but it wouldn't be a big help. That's just a waste of money right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So the other thing that too, we as Knicks fans have to keep in mind that because we were the 4th seed, and we keep going back. Well, I keep going back to it because where we could have went in this playoff, everybody right now is beatable. You know, even because of injury, even the mighty Nets are beatable. You know, and on the brink of going home, even though I think they're going to win Game 7. But if we just look at where we left the season, right, with our 2 first-round picks, it's my feeling that if we're just going to tinker, if they decide they want to run it back, because unless somebody's crying to come here, you got to make a move early in free agency. You know, what the little things you're going to do. Because if you're just waiting on a superstar and that don't pan out and we can't hope that it will because it hasn't in the past, then you have to go out and get the next 2 players that best fit your team right now. And if getting those 2 players, like we talked about DeRozan and who was the other guard we talked about last week? The other point guard. But you're talking about using your 2 first-round picks and parlay those into getting, you know, guys that can come in and flat out score and shoot the ball. We have to consider that, and then we can run it back. You know, because again, we're banking on the fact that Obi will get better. You know, we're banking on the fact that Mitch will get better because we got to get some upfront scoring. So I like the chances and the stuff that the Knicks are doing right now. It's a whole lot of stuff that's in the news, but to be able to cipher through it, the draft is in about a month, and then if we hold on to our picks, and we, like you said last week, we have to go for shooters, you know, and we see where the Knicks can end up because we sitting in a great spot. 4th seed, even if it was the 6th seed, that's a great spot to build on. And looking at how the playoffs is going, listen, you get the right pieces. I say, and I don't know if Tibbs would jump right out and say it, even though he would prepare them for that we play for a championship. That we go into training camp training for a championship. We have the coach in place, we got the mindset, and we got the front office. And now we got history on our side because this playoff shows that anything can happen once you really get in and you locked in. You know, so we're going to keep this one short today. I'm sure in your city or in your town, wherever you're from, there's a lot of things going on. Celebrating Juneteenth, so I would say get out and enjoy it. And we're going to sit here still and we're going to toast our Knicks victories in terms of our players being selected to all-star teams. That's never really happened to us before. Like we never really had second, third, you know, let alone first team, all-team ballots.
Yeah, they almost invited us to the ceremony. But, we had to work and stuff.
Yeah. So later on, the Hennessy and Heineken's come out. But for right now, Knick Nation, please like, comment, subscribe. And we see y'all next time. Peace.